Hi everybody. I am Jan Bloom and I'm coming to you from Boca Raton, Florida. And I'm delighted that you have all decided to spend part of your evening with us and listen to what I believe is a very life-changing conversation. It could be for you, it could be for your family, anyone that's important to you. We're going to be conveying a lot of content, and we're going to be joined by Rakisha McMillan, who's going to be also sharing in this dialogue. And so tonight we're going to be talking about focusing on your future, your most precious asset, which I believe is your good health, because you could have all the things in the world materialistically, financially, but none of that means anything if you don't have your health and you don't have the time to enjoy it. Wouldn't you all agree? So I'm going to be sharing my screen, and I'm going to start by speaking to you about a few different elements. Our objective at Health Practice Advisors is to help the people that are learning about what we do, to help them feel better, look better. Because when you feel better and you look better, you ultimately live better. Today, people are suffering from depression, anxiety, self-esteem problems because they don't like the way they look or they don't feel good, and therefore they don't live well. Our whole focus here is to address those issues, and we address them very successfully because we have many, many years of experience proving the lifestyle objective that they accomplish at the conclusion of working with us. So I'd like to talk about the first topic, which is metabolic health. First time I heard that term, I was thinking, metabolic health? What's metabolic health? I know metabolism. I know that I'm always hearing people say, oh, my metabolism's slow. All I know is that metabolic health is made up of these 5 elements: diabetes, overweight, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and emotional health and mindset. That is what makes up the topic of metabolic health. Poor metabolic health is something we can all relate to. It's the fabulous donuts and burgers and Cokes. It's the ability to lay on your television clicker, not move. It's the medications that people are taking, the anti-anxiety medications, blood pressure medicine, diabetes medications, cholesterol medications. It's the financial stresses that you're dealing with, or this can come from family genetics. And so this is the reality of the life that we live in. Now, there's good metabolic health and there's bad metabolic health. We're going to talk about the ideal metabolic health, and that is having a healthy blood pressure. A lot of people don't realize that 120/80 or less is a good blood pressure. However, this morning, my blood pressure was 107/72. That's still considered a good blood pressure. That's my normal. Everybody has a different normal, but what you don't want is when anything is above that 120 or 80. So that's important to be knowledgeable about. Fasting glucose. That's when you're looking to see, am I a diabetic possibly? Am I pre-diabetic? And you want, when you are fasting for a good 12 hours before a blood test, you want to have a fasting glucose that is less than 100 milligrams. Your triglycerides should be less than 150. Your waist circumference, us ladies on the line, we want to have less than a 34 waist. I can tell you right now, confession, during COVID, is that my license to let go? My waistline was the same as my husband's. I literally put on 30 pounds. Yes, I'm in the health industry. Yes, I know everything I need to do correctly. But you know what? Yes, I'm human. And yes, I ate like crap, if I'm going to put it bluntly. I didn't pay attention. I wanted that license to eat because I was lonely and I hated what we were going through COVID. So what happened? I gained a tremendous amount of weight. It elevated my blood pressure. It increased my blood sugar. My triglycerides went off the wall. Nothing fit me. And everything about my internal health was affected by that physical weight that I gained during COVID. So I am now, thank goodness, back in good metabolic health where it should be. And it was accomplished doing some specific things. And some of those things are going to be what we talk about tonight. But, poor eating habits, they do start somewhere. Kids, look at parents today. You've got dual families that are absolutely working their heads off with moms not having time to prepare healthy meals. We've got people that are just mindlessly eating because it's comfort food. We've got people that are so emotionally stressed out that they turn to food for comfort. And then pregnancy. We work with a lot of women who've had babies and just cannot get in their groove to lose that baby weight. So poor habits start somewhere. And I can even relate to the pregnancy thing. It still amazes me to this day that I've had healthy children because the minute I found out I was pregnant for the first time, that was another time in my life I was the license to eat. How my daughter came out so normal when I was eating Burger King, pizza, and chicken Parmesan, Lord knows. But thank God she did, and she's quite a successful young woman today. And I can say that in pregnancy, more than ever, is a time that we really need to help women learn how to manage their eating habits and lifestyle habits. All of these issues are alarming, and it's what contributes to this epidemic of obesity. And if you look at these numbers, I know they're just numbers. 1.5 billion adults are overweight. I mean, those numbers don't mean a lot to me. I just go to Disney World. I live in Florida and I look to my right, my left, behind me. Everybody's overweight. And not only the parents, but the kids are too. So this is a very serious epidemic that we are seriously addressing. So what are people doing about it? People are beginning to get desperate more than ever. They're turning to drugs that don't have long-term side effects that are going to be a benefit. They're going to be a detriment. They are causing side effects that they don't even know. They don't even care. They're just doing it to lose weight. I've already witnessed women that I know who gained so much weight, who went on this Ozempic, and when they stopped after their 20-week program, it didn't take but 3 to 4 months, and they started to look just like they did before they started because they didn't adopt the healthy habits while utilizing the Ozempic. They didn't get physically active. I mean, even taking a walk for 15, 20 minutes. So we've got to go back to that old saying, say no to drugs, because that's not going to solve a problem for you. So what keeps us from feeling great? Because that's the bottom line is we want to feel great, because when you feel great, you're happy and you're going to live a wonderful life. So it's the energy, it's the stress, it's the diet, the cravings, no control over our eating and emotions and our food behaviors, and not knowing what to change. There's so many options out there. There's shakes and there's fake foods and there's these trendy diets and there's just too many things. And it's all fads that aren't authentic. They're not sustainable. And then what happens is you just end up with mental overwhelm. And so what you do is you just stay where you are. And that's what keeps people from feeling great. So what is this all leading to? It's leading to a worldwide decline in mental health. I mean, it isn't enough that we have mental health problems and stress with what's going on in our world today, whether it's government issues, political issues, world peace issues. We're eating ourselves through these issues, and then we're stressing and getting mentally ill over it. They're showing studies about foods that are being consumed that are not healthy, they're less nutritious, fruits and vegetables being grown in soil that's depleted from nutrients, or vegetables that are sprayed with waxes and chemicals and pesticides, and we're consuming that no matter how well you wash them off, they still have all that on there. So it's study after study, and this is such an incredible topic because there was an amazing article on the great nutrient collapse. And the great nutrient collapse is causing the collapse of our families. And that to me is insanely depressing. So, what I want to do is I want to introduce you to a woman that is someone I have the deepest respect for. She is from New Jersey and proud of it. She is highly credentialed in the field of health education. She's a certified integrative nutrition health coach. She is certified to teach our program curriculums. She is a veteran. She works with the veterans. She has her master's in social work. She has everything it takes to know how life should be. And I love her wisdom. And I want to turn the next segment over to Rakisha McMillan. Rakisha.
Thank you so much, Jan. And so, as my colleague Jan was sharing, that there is a major problem that we are currently facing right now in our society, and that problem is deeply rooted in a $3.3 trillion problem that is connected to the 11 companies that you see on the screen. And so, alone, all of this is centered around refined carbs. This is what people are eating day in and day out. And this is where many of the problems are coming from that people are facing in their life every day. So, the source of the problem surrounds what we call insulin resistance. And insulin is a hormone that helps our bodies to use food that we are eating as energy. And insulin resistance is often the culprit behind many of the preventable health concerns that you see today. People are facing Alzheimer's, diabetes, cancer, dementia. These are diseases that are not showing any signs of slowing down, but they are readily increasing because of insulin resistance. And insulin levels are also a key indicator of how the body is actually being fueled. And so, how can we bridge the gap? What is the solution that we really need to look at when it comes to the insulin resistance? It lies in two specific products known as Unimate and Balance. And these products together really create what we call measurable results. The protocol involves what we call intermittent fasting. And for those of you that might be familiar with intermittent fasting, this is a very simple protocol. It doesn't involve a lot of restrictions that you have to follow, but you're mainly focusing on eating at a different time frame. You're changing when you are actually eating and you're focusing on what you're eating. And most people who follow this protocol, they're using the supplement Unimate, and it's helping them to get through that time of intermittent fasting because most people tend to have struggles when they're fasting, whether they're trying to do that on their own, they're struggling with not eating, and Unimate helps them to get through their fast. And so, taking a look at high insulin impacts and how that impacts metabolism and how it inhibits fat burning. And so, when we're fasting, we're not starving, but what happens is that you're actually switching your fuel sources. So, instead of burning food for fuel, you're actually burning body fat for fuel. And when you're burning fat for fuel, your body is beginning to operate at those optimal levels of health. And this is why our bodies actually store fat for fuel, and our bodies are going to use that in an optimal way. And so, how can we impact our insulin levels? And so, in order to use our body fat for fuel during our fasting state, we want to be able to avoid snacking. And so when it's time to eat, we want to be able to eat food that's enjoyable, food that doesn't feel like we're on a diet. But we want to be able to avoid those insulin spikes by not overeating. And the protocol of using the Unimate helps to make it easier to get into that state. And so, how can we? I'm sorry, can we go back to that the previous slide?
Mhm. If it'll let me.
There we go. Thank you. And so, in order for our bodies to really use that fat during the times that we're fasting, we want to be able to avoid that snacking. We also want to be able to enjoy the foods that we're eating by not overeating. And so, the protocol again makes it much easier when we are using the Unimate. And so during that time of intermittent fasting, you're on a time restricted eating schedule, which is an 8-hour window. So that means that you are beginning to eat your meals at 12 p.m. and that you're stopping after 8 p.m. You're not taking in any calories after that time, which leaves a 16-hour fasting window. And during that 16 hours, you can drink things like water or non caloric beverages, low energy beverages, so that you will stay or remain in that fasting state.
Isha, I want to say that one of the things I love about this concept is I can go to sleep and know I'm burning fat.
Yes.
I could be burning fat while I'm sleeping and not running on a treadmill necessarily. Not that I'm saying it's a bad thing to run on a treadmill, but I always love that because when I go to sleep, I'll say to myself, oh, this is great. I got to get to sleep and lose some body fat.
No, absolutely. And so, what are some of the benefits of intermittent fasting? Well, some of the research shows that it helps us to have that healthy glucose as well as maintains our cholesterol in a very healthy way. It lowers our blood pressure, it improves our heart health, it improves body composition. So, these are just some of the benefits that come from intermittent fasting. There have been numerous studies that show how fasting helps those who really practice this protocol, such as our type 2 diabetes, intermittent fasting. It helps to reverse that condition, which is a large part of the Unimate and the balance protocol. It is even shown to help with our body fat measurements. It helps with our metabolic health as well as our fitness parameters. There are just studies after studies that show how intermittent fasting, it even improves our cardiovascular health. It helps to increase our energy levels. And so this is a protocol or a practice that everyone can benefit from. And so taking a look at our first supplement, which is Unimate. And so Unimate is a delicious nutritional drink. It is composed of the yerba mate plant. It's a blend of green tea extract. It includes amino acids as well as vitamins. And some of the benefits of Unimate when you are taking it in the morning, it helps to support your overall well-being. It helps you to move into a very relaxed state. It also helps you to maintain your endurance and your stamina. I know many individuals, including myself, use this as a pre workout drink so that when you are engaging in your exercises, you will notice a boost in that stamina to have an effective workout routine. It helps to support weight management. It helps to also promote satiety, meaning that you're going to feel full and you're not going to have those cravings that would cause you to want to eat those refined carbs, but it also helps to promote the body's ketone production. So, how does Unimate work? When you are drinking it in the morning, again, it helps you to get through your time of fasting. It also helps to keep your insulin levels regulated and provide you with that sustained energy without spiking your blood sugar levels. So, it helps to keep you balanced and regulated during that time of fasting. The process of yerba mate is a very refined process where they have perfected it in a sense, from the extracting to the concentration of the yerba of the unimate, purifying the compounds and creating the most potent and effective yerba mate supplement. And so it is actually hand-picked, it is fire roasted, it's extracted, concentrated, and purified again for the most potent supplement that we can take.
Isha, one of the things that I found so interesting about the yerba mate is I was not familiar with this type of supplement. And what I learned is a lot of people are because it has so many health benefits. So people that are really into nutrition are very up to snuff on the benefits of yerba mate. So as I was learning what I was learning about it, one of the things I found out was we actually own our own yerba mate fields that we harvested ourselves, that the company has absolutely complete ownership of this specific process that you were describing of the extracting, the concentration, purifying, creating. There is a unique process that extracts out of that yerba mate plant all of the elements that provide the benefits that you'll talk about that it provides. However, I learned from people that were familiar with yerba mate that was, let's say, commercially purchased. Yerba mate has some benefits for commercially um, provided supplement, but nothing close to the purity and potency of the yerba mate process that is coming from the plants that our company owns the fields, that our company processes, manufactures, produces, and packages themselves. So I just thought that was pretty cool because so many nutritional products that we find in the stores are, you can see 14 different versions of the same thing, and they're all coming from different places. And you don't know if what's in the label, in the bottle on the label, what's on the label in the bottle. And I really love all of the elements behind the scenes with this yerba mate. So just wanted to throw that one out there.
Mhm. Another great benefit of the Unimate is it is an adaptogen. And what that means is that the yerba mate within the supplement has the ability to help the body to adapt to external stressors. And we know that we are living in a very stressful time. And so, who wouldn't need this type of supplement in their life to help them to adapt to the stressors that the body is experiencing? And so, when you're drinking the Unamate, it has a very calming effect on the body. It helps to boost energy without any type of negative side effects, but it also helps to improve focus as well as alertness.
I have to chime in again, forgive me. So I got a text today from a friend of mine. She's a nurse practitioner down in El Paso, Texas. I just was actually reached out to her first. Her mom is going through cancer treatments, and it's been a tough time on the family. And she took her mother to MD Anderson, and she said, I have to tell you, the Unamate is absolutely amazing. She said, the unbelievable energy it gave my mother. I noticed it, her ability to walk around, because she brought it for herself to use while they were on the trip to MD Anderson. And she just said her mood personally was depressed because of what her mom was going through. And she said it was incredible how it absolutely calmed her down and
Mm.
elevated her mood. And her mom had this unbelievable experience with her energy. So I'm just, it's on my mind because I was just reading the text that I got today from her.
Yeah, a testament to the effectiveness.
Yeah. So I'm going to take over here for a second. Is that okay, Keisha?
Sure, absolutely.
All right. I like to talk about balance because it's what brought me 29 years ago to this company. And who stays anywhere for 29 years? Me. Why? Because when you know that something is so important, it's kind of hard to keep it a secret from other people. And my life's always been about being committed to helping others. And my quick journey because of this balance began with my children. And at the time, they were little girls, 6 and 8 years old. Pediatrician wanted to run some baseline lab work on them because my husband's family genetics were devastating: high cholesterol, cardiovascular disease, diabetes. And this pediatrician said, while the children are young, we should do a baseline on them just to see, did they get his genetics? And so lo and behold, they certainly did. Their cholesterols at 6 and 8 years old were over 400, and their blood sugar was right on the cusp of being diabetic. There's only so much you can do, when you're trying to change habits of a 6 and 8 year old. Try and steal a bag of Fritos out of their hand. Not easy. And medications were even not an option. I'm not an advocate of prescription medications. I don't like side effects, and let alone they were too young for that. So that sent me on my mom mission to see what could I do nutritionally to address their condition. And I did all my research, and I had learned about all the medical documentation and publication and how balance was developed at Stanford University, and it had already been developing for the last 3 years when I first learned about it. And it had been published in major peer-reviewed medical journals and published in the Physician's Desk Reference, which is the Bible to the medical community. I mean, all of that was so impressive to me. It was one phone call I made. I said, can children use this? And their answer was, it's completely food-based. It'll either help or do nothing. I felt I got nothing to lose. Gathered everything, sat down with my husband, and I said to him, I've done all the research. This is what I'm proposing we do for Amy and Susie. Well, my husband's a medical doctor. He's a classically trained MD, internal medicine. And I can tell you that he looked at me like I just landed from outer space, Mars. I mean, he just gave me a look. I expected it. And he basically said, there's never been anything nutritional to solve the problem with cholesterol and diabetes. So I jokingly said, well, maybe you were absent the day they taught nutrition in medical school. And he sarcastically said, no, I was probably in the bathroom. So we bickered back and forth, but I basically said to him, you know what, when you're in your office with your patients, you're the boss. But guess what? When you walk in the door at night here, I'm the boss. And I have literally never looked back because that changed our lives. It saved and prolonged my children's lives. It prevented them from ever having to go on medications. Every cousin that's their age on my husband's side of the family is on a statin drug or diabetic and overweight. My husband to this day is on a statin medication, but not as much because he's able to reduce the amount of statin drug he has to use for his cholesterol because this balance made up for the difference, helping him lower it. But his is so dangerously high that the balance alone couldn't conquer it 100%, but it could for my daughters. And so that's what's kept me 29 years talking about this, because when good things like this come across your life, good people don't keep things a secret. And I like to think of myself as a good person. So the benefits of utilizing balance are simple and just accomplish extraordinary things. It's considered a pre-meal drink. that tastes delicious. It could be before lunch, it could be before dinner. Even if you forget, it still works. I always tell people the only time this doesn't work is when it stays in the packet in the box. Even when you use it all wrong, it works. But when you use this prior to a meal, it does everything you see on the screen. It'll curb your appetite. You'll sit down to, let's say, a burger, and you won't be able to finish it. You will maybe want to have that pasta, rice, or potato, but you can't have it all because you're full. And additionally, the ingredients that are in the balance will slowly absorb the sugar that's in those carbohydrates and prevent it from getting into the bloodstream, which is what causes us to get diabetes, which causes us to get high cholesterol, which causes us to get our fat cells blowing up bigger and bigger and overweight. So it supports the healthy weight management part. If somebody is lean and thin and they're drinking balance a couple times a day or once a day, they're not going to lose more weight if they're already thin. You can't burn body fat that's not there. And so when this is combined at least once a day with what Keisha talked about with that Unimate, which has such a profound effect on all of the elements she discussed, these two together are like a 1-2 punch. And so this alone, I just want you to know, the company, we work in over 50 countries, 60 actually. There's been $4 billion, with a B, billion dollars worth of this balance sold globally over the last 30 plus years. I'm telling you that because nobody should ever leave this conversation wondering, well, I wonder if it works. Let me see if it works. This is not something that's on trial. It's been proven again and again and again and again with years and years of physicians, lab tests, befores and afters. This is something, if you've never heard about it, you're never going to want to be without it, and you're never going to want to forget about it, and you won't keep it a secret from other people. So this is something where, it goes back to those graphs that Keisha has the ability to explain, but I'm just going to do my best on this. I look at something goes up, that means whoop, high. Something goes down, whoop, low. And normal blood sugars should be nice and even and keel. And so when people are eating the foods that they're eating, their insulin levels tend to rise. And having elevated insulin is not good for your overall health, as you heard Keisha explain. And so one of the things that we want to protect ourselves from is having a spike in the blood sugar and elevating our insulin. Well, when you drink the balance before a meal, it has a profound effect on bringing your blood sugar into and keeping it into a normal range. And I'm going to turn this to Keisha for a second so she can give her medical explanation of it.
Yeah, and so we see from this here that the blood glucose levels without the balance, that they are very elevated. But with the balance, we see that the blood glucose levels are regulated. And that's what we want because the fiber helps to keep the blood sugar levels balanced within the body, as we can see here from the graphs.
And this just one up and down slope that you see, you know how they say a picture speaks 1,000 words? This is literally what happens in your system when you are consuming the balance. Talk about this, Keisha, if you would.
Yeah, and so there again, there have been so many studies on the Feel Great system in itself, but there were studies that were conducted that showed that it helped to elevate the mood for those who were taking the balance. So it increased the mood, boosted as much as 75% of those who were really on the Feel Great system. And so it's again a mood booster, elevates in many, many ways. And so again, this is just another benefit that comes from using the Feel Great system.
When I mentioned before about Jennifer's mom and Jennifer's mood and her elevation while going through that whole cancer situation with her mom, another really important story, maybe some of you will relate to, is during COVID, a lot of people afterwards started to suffer with brain fog. And I have a friend who's been a childhood friend. We've been close since we're in nursery school. And she's always been the friend that never wants to pay attention to anything nutritious. She's the kind of girl that's got one of those metabolisms that doesn't stop. She eats her head off, and she's always had the best figure. She's the girlfriend that you kind of hate when it comes to that stuff. And she would never be interested in anything I had to talk about when it came to the work that I do. She has her degree in psychology, and she's in a private practice. And so she was sharing with me that since she had COVID, she just can't concentrate. She can't even listen to her patients. If she isn't writing it down, she's losing her mind. She doesn't even feel capable of working. She feels that she's basically not cognizant for her patients. And so I said to her, let me introduce you to something that we have in our company that is just literally cleaning the cobwebs out of people's brains. It's like going in and turning the lights on. She was so desperate. She finally said yes. And so I said, but I'm not going to give this to you. You're going to pay for it, because if I give it to you, you won't use it. Because, you know, people never value anything they don't pay for. I made her pay me back, even though we have a lifelong tab with each other of taking each other back and forth to lunch. I said, you're going to buy it because then I know you'll take it seriously. I have to tell you, within 3 days, she calls me. She said, I don't know what's in that, but I am back. I am absolutely 100% able to comprehend my clients, remember what they said. It's like someone turned on the spotlights in my head. And I knew it. And that to me was the most satisfying story, because she's been fighting me for years. And if you know anybody that's dealing with the brain fog or can't comprehend or remember things, their focus, I don't know if you like walk into a room and you're wondering, why did I come in here? This will make a huge difference, not just in mood, but in your memory. It is extraordinary how this works. So I'm going to do a little history lesson here, because I told you I've been with this company a long time. I'm not that old. I'm not going back to 1903, but I will tell you, for those of you that maybe in my age group, all you youngins, who maybe remember the old Rexall drugstores. And for those of you that don't, you need to know Rexall was a household name many, many years ago, when you were probably either just getting into childhood or maybe not even born yet. But Rexall was the first chain of drugstores throughout the United States. They had 100,000 drugstores. And then they began to lessen and lessen when big stores like the Walmarts and the Targets and deep discount stores started to put in pharmacies and supermarkets. So that little drugstore owner kind of became extinct. Well, anyway, Rexall had multiple divisions, and one of their divisions was a preventive health and wellness division. They were always ahead of their time. And in that division, they developed the balance, the Bios Life Balance. That's what it's called, Bios Life Balance. And so when that was developed, that was when I began to learn about it about 3 years later. It then evolved into being a global company. And then it evolved into this strategy of the Feel Great system launching. And then it evolved into the Unimate launching. I kind of went backwards on this graph because I'm used to reading the other way, but you can follow the dates. But here we are today, as I said before, we are in over 60 countries with $4 billion of balance sold, in business 40 years. And that should give you a level of comfort to know that anything that you want to explore with us, boy, are you in safe hands. I don't want you to just take my stories here and there. We've got some stories here, and I might even ask if I can ask some folks to share theirs, but I'm just going to play a really quick little video here because I thought this was very cool.
Alessandra, you still on metformin? Nope. What were you struggling with? Gone?
Fine.
Alexis, what happened to your pre-diabetes?
Gone.
How much weight are you down?
40 pounds.
Misha, how much weight are you down?
50 pounds.
What happened to your arthritis?
Gone.
Diabetes?
Gone.
Boom. Jose, what happened to your diabetes?
Gone.
How much weight are you down?
16 pounds.
What was your A1C before?
8.5.
Now?
6.4.
Boom. Shannon, show me those biceps. You use the Feel Great system?
Of course.
Boom. Chris, what happened to your high blood pressure?
Gone.
How much weight are you down?
25 pounds.
Boom. Cesar, what happened to you with the Feel Great system?
About antidepressants. I'm down 24 pounds.
Boom. And that was Jamie last August. Jamie, that's insane.
The last time I know this city was 10 years ago. I knew I 40 months. I was doing cabbage soup diet and lost a bunch of weight. Now, I eat what the hell I like, and I use this.
And no cabbage soup. Boom. Farah, how much weight you down? And all you're doing is taking a balance. And look, everyone's just mixing balance. Simple. Steph, how much weight are you down? We got Crow beat the beaties. Steve, what happened to your A1C?
A1C went from 11.8 guy and we got 5.5. So totally off the chart diabetic to non-diabetic anyway.
Insane. We got Joel. What happened to your diabetes?
All right, I went from 7.6 to 5.3. Blood tested this last Monday. I've gone down to 47 and a half pounds in about 100 days.
Oh,
So that's just one group of people sitting together at a meal sharing their stories. this is going on all over the world. It's insane. What I want to do is I want to ask, because I think I saw a few people log in that have some real live stories. I'm going to ask maybe Juanita, if you don't mind coming out and sharing anything that would be valuable for us to hear from you about your family. Would you be able to do that?
Yeah, thank you, Jan. You know, my family and I experimented with all the various diet trends that were mentioned previously. Like we consulted doctors and we tried medications and we sought out nutritionists and purchased self-guided programs. And, you know, we used other supplements, but our diets would fail and, you know, we would gain all of our weight back, you know, and since joining Feel Great and joining Get Fit 21, each of us has shed over 100 pounds of excess fat each and we reduced our needs for medications. And I'm so confident now with this new lifestyle that, you know, was easy to adopt that, you know, we have the necessary tools to maintain our well-being and erase our fears of obesity and illness again. You know, I mean, my triglycerides, they were 120 when I began, and now they're 39.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the fact that, your mom, I mean, her results have been extraordinary. And just watching your family literally eat, drink, and shrink.
It's been amazing, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It really has. Yes, my mother, my husband, my brother's fiance, we've all lost weight and just we're so much happier and healthier and we have energy.
And it wasn't something that just happened and we're talking 6 months ago. I mean, you've maintained this now. And this has just absolutely made your future be steady.
Absolutely. I can't imagine a day without balance. I can't imagine a day without Unamate. I can't. I absolutely just love it because we feel so good all the time.
Well, thanks
And
for
you're right. It took us, you know, we started in May of 2021.
Mhm. So the longevity is important for your long-term maintenance. That's the key. So thanks, Juanita.
Absolutely.
I think I saw Bridget log in too. Bridget, if you're there and you can come in out of mute, would you be willing to share if you can log in and share with us?
Yes, Jan, no problem. Unimate and Balance the Feel Great system has made a great impact on my health journey, but especially Balance because I am a type 2 diabetic. It has supported my weight management, supported my efforts to do intermittent fasting each day, as well as help me maintain normal glucose levels. And as a result, within 2 months of being on the Feel Great system, I was able to be removed off all my type 2 diabetes medication. And my last A1C reading was 6.7, and I have lost over 45 pounds. And I contributed that to the Feel Great system.
Wow. Thanks, Bridget. I mean, you can't argue with that, everybody. I mean, you're hearing it live. Watching the video is one thing, but hearing it live is another. I think I saw Tammy Schreiner also log in, and she may have a comment or two to share. Tammy, are you there by any chance? Can you come
I
up?
am, Jan. Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, kind of like Juanita was saying, I struggled for many years, had ups and downs, tried many bad diets, and I even tried doctor supervision diets only to just gain the weight back. But in 2018, I was introduced to the Get Fit 21 program, and it was life changing. I lost over 48 pounds, almost 50 pounds. I was keeping that off for about 15 months, and my health started going downhill due to being exposed to carbon monoxide poisoning. But as everyone, like Jan was saying about the Unimate, when the Feel Great system came out, I thought, lemon, I like tea. I think I'm going to give this a try. And I did. And like Juanita said, my triglycerides were not high, but they were like in the 150s. And when I had them rechecked, they were in the 30s. My cholesterol was also down. But the one profound thing that has really helped me with the Unimate is it helped me get basically my metabolic health that I had achieved with Get Fit 21, helped me get that back. And that's meant the world to me.
Thanks, Tammy. I appreciate you sharing your
How was
story.
that?
And so, while you've heard from people in the video, we all know this, why diets don't work. You heard them say they've done every diet under the sun and it didn't work. And they don't work because it's a combination of packaged foods, medication, deprivation, fad diets. That doesn't work today. But what does work is improving habits, things that fit your lifestyle, from your foods that you enjoy. Because you know what? Let's face it, people don't eat to live. They live to eat. And so if you take something away from somebody, they're not going to stick with it. And so what we focus on at Health Practice Advisors is just this: habit change, education, supplementation, with a couple different programs. You heard Feel Great System mentioned, and then you also heard the Get Fit 21 program, and different strokes for different folks. Some people like community and being online and being part of, one way of learning and accomplishing their goals. And other people just like to stay to themselves and do it private. That's fine. Well, either way, we have an answer. And so we've got an additional program that's called Get Fit 21. It is a proven solution. It was launched in 2013, and it is literally a program that is unlike anything else that's out there. It's an integrative coaching program, and we've helped more than 35,000 people accomplish goals around the world. The reason is because people achieve better results when they have a tool. What's the tool? The tool could be Unimate, the tool could be balance, or whatever tool it is that's necessary for that client's health objective. We've got the endorsement of the medical community. I've been working with physicians for 29 years. I developed the integrative medicine division, just working with physicians, teaching them how to integrate into their medical practices the nutritional strategies as first-line approaches before they jump to the pharmaceuticals. So we've got the endorsement by the medical community, published, as I said before, in all the medical journals. It's affordable. We found that when something is safe, healthy, and affordable, and you use it, it keeps you connected to the health education that you're learning. All the stuff that you need to undo from a lifetime of habits, the supplementation element of the programs, whether it's Feel Great or whether it's Get Fit 21, those supplementation tools keep your head connected to what you're being taught to eat just a little differently. And what we've done, again, we're all about affordability. When people are enrolled with our supplement strategy, we provide a free educational program because we're all about education. The perception we don't want people to have is, oh, we're just peddling a product or a supplement. We're just another one of those things. No, we are not. This is probably the most highly credentialed program with extraordinary success. And we believe in education because I don't want anybody to use balance, use Unimate, or whatever they choose, and do it alongside just a lifetime of poor eating habits. We want you to enjoy your poor eating habits minimally. And while we're helping you maximize new habits that are going to be tolerable for you, you're going to have such an ease to do that because of the supplement strategy. As I said, everything that we do is published in major medical journals. The Physician's Desk Reference published us every single year, and we can tell you that it is the Bible to the medical community. Doctors will not recommend things that are not in there. You also won't find nutritional supplements in the Physician's Desk Reference, but why will you find ours? Because we meet the standards for research science that's evidence-based. And so most companies that produce nutritional supplements, they don't spend the money on science and research. We do. Why do we have this formula for success? What is it? It's simple, sustainable choices that you can make. You can do this with a community of like-minded people. Let's face it, people want to belong to something. I mean, you know that expression, misery loves company. Overweight people want to be with other overweight people and see what they're doing and how they're losing weight. They love the community. You'll have a certified coach who's going to guide you and hold your hand. And as I said, it's affordable. You can do this online. You can do this offline. You can do it in the group. You can do it by yourself. You'll have coaches that will guide you every single step of the way that are certified to teach what we teach. We've got tremendous educational tools that are kindergarten, ADD friendly. And I say that because no one's more ADD than me. Wait, what? These guidebooks will teach you stuff that will be so enlightening, things you just didn't know before. And we've presented it in a way that's interesting, not boring. You'll decide how you want to be a part of this. Do you want to go into the Facebook group and be part of a community that's private, that only people in that Facebook group are going to see what's going on with the whole program? Or do you want to just receive one-on-one email campaigns and listen to lessons? You choose your direction. There's a lot of people that have had feedback about Get Fit 21. I want you to listen to some of them.
Get Fit 21 has changed my life It works. It's exciting. We're changing lives.
This is the program that's going to finally get you to where you want to be.
First 21 days, I lost 20 pounds, which was awesome.
And I've lost 15 pounds and gained lots of muscle. It's not a diet or a quick fix. I'm exercising more. I'm eating better. I'm making healthier choices.
Not only have I lost a bunch of weight, I feel great.
My energy's better. My strength is better.
I feel with so much energy.
Because they
Really like the coaching and teaches you the why behind nutrition.
You will gain knowledge and you will become a new person.
We're teaching people how to live a lifestyle of health in your everyday life.
So we have a closed Facebook page that helps us to be accountable, to be connected.
You're going to be motivated. You're going to be held accountable.
We all need accountability. We all need help and we all need support from others.
The curriculum in the Facebook page is outstanding. I'm proud to be a Get Fit 21 health coach.
Anybody can do it. It's affordable. It's educational.
I'm doing all kinds of things I never thought I would be able to do. Going from a couch potato to being able to run a 5K within 8 months.
The program makes me look good.
My overall diet and nutrition is better. But the biggest thing is I feel great.
I also have lost some weight and gained muscle.
It surprised me and it's also surprised my husband how much I have changed with this program.
Get Fit 21. Do it for you. You deserve it.
So I can't tell you how many times I've had to modify that because I probably have 30 more comments like that. Here's what else is really cool. This is where you really want to measure your results. One of the most important elements in your health is knowing what is your hemoglobin A1C. You're hearing a lot of talk about that lately because heart disease is the silent killer, and epidemic wise, diabetes is becoming quickly number one. And so knowing what your A1C over a 90-day period is critical. So what we want to inspire people who are serious about wanting to get their labs and everything in check, because you could be nice and lean and trim on the outside, but you could have an unhealthy interior and then you're basically not accomplishing anything. This kills two birds with one stone. We're giving you what you need, which is healthy insides, healthy arteries, healthy heart pumping, healthy blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides, and all that. But we're giving you what you want, which is to look better for those of you that are interested in just the weight loss. This is a test kit. And so you can optionally, it's up to every individual client, they can get this. And it comes with two tests, one that you do beforehand, and then you do it again 90 days later because hemoglobin A1C is tested over a 90-day frame. And so you would take that, then you'd start your supplements or your program, whatever it is that you're doing with the coach or on your own, whatever it is your choice. And then after the 90 days, you check it again and you will see a result. And what's cool is there's a 90-day money back guarantee. So if you look at just the Feel Great package, Unamate, and the balance that we talked about tonight, and you look at the fact that the fee for you to be an investment in you, that includes your coaching, being part of that group or not being in the group and just going with the one-on-one quiet email campaign, whatever your choice is, this should be a no-brainer for any of you that are reviewing this information. I can't imagine why anybody would review this and say, I'm not interested. Because the bottom line is no change means no change. The first step to getting anywhere is you deciding you're not willing to stay where you are. So if the way you're feeling today is not the way you want to feel 5 years from now, 10 years from now, the time is now for you to get started. So I want to say, get back to who's inviting you to review this information and just say, I want to get started. Period. End of story. Because you have nothing to lose and you have all the health to gain. If you don't try, like my mom said, you'll never know. So I hope that some of the things we said resonated with you tonight. I want to thank you for your attention. And I hope that you forward this information to anyone that's important to you because you're important to us. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Keisha. And to any of our guests that shared their experiences, thank you. Have a great night.